it's Freya, and the week theme this week is story time. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you some of the storybooks of my childhood. And let me preface this by saying that I had a lot of storybooks in my childhood. I'm talking shelves upon shelves of picture books, so I narrowed it down with great difficulty. And I've got here a pile of my faves. So to start off, we have one that I'm pretty sure every child in the Western world knows about, and that is The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. This, like many of the books I have here, is a classic, and one that featured a lot in my childhood. Wow. Okay, so I was expecting this to be a nostalgia train. However, I've never realized how creepy the sun looks in this book. Okay, next up we have one that is slightly less well known, but is beautiful as heck, and that is The Singing Hat by Toby Riddle. Basically, this book's about this guy who takes a good old nap during his lunch break, and a bird makes a nest in his head, and then it has a baby bird, and they just become part of his life, and they kind of, you know, mess up his life a bit, and everyone thinks he's really weird, but he grows to love the birds, and then the birds fly away and be free, and it's a very simultaneously sad and happy scene. Okay, next up we have another one that is very well known, and one that was actually made into a movie that is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. This book was another one that was very significant to me, and it's one of my mum's favorites as well, so she'd read it to us a lot. And basically, if you don't know the story, it's about this kid, Max, who chucks a temper tantrum, and then says he's gonna run away, and his room turns into a forest, and he meets all these monsters and becomes king of the monsters. And then he realizes that life's kind of not great when kids are in charge, and he goes back and apologizes, and life is good. But yeah, this is just a beautiful book, and it has been made into a phenomenal movie, and like, because this book is so close to my heart, if that movie had been bad, I would have been really, really pissed off. But I don't think it could have been done any better. Okay, next up we have an Aussie classic, and one that my parents related to a lot because me and my brother were monstrous to take on road trips, and that is Are We There Yet by Alison Lester. But yeah, an Australian classic that basically follows the story of this family who goes traveling around Australia. So something that I think makes a children's book good is that people who are not children can also appreciate it and find a deeper underlying meaning in it. And although all of these books do that, this one in particular is a book that I can appreciate so much as a teenager as well as when I was a kid, and that is The Lost Thing by Shaun Tan. Shaun Tan is a beautiful writer, and he makes a lot of beautiful things. And this book is included in that long list of beautiful things that he has made. So next on the list, I have a book that I can't find. And that is actually quite upsetting because it means a lot to me. But that book is Hello Baby by Jenny Overend. The best way I can describe this book is by saying that it's like being inside by the fire on a cold winter's night. It's basically, yeah, about a baby being born in the middle of this massive storm, and that is the feeling that I get when I read this book. Next up, we have a beautiful but severely heartbreaking book. Mum used to cry when she read us this book. I loved it, so I'd make her read it all the time, but she would cry every single time she read it, and that is The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde. And this particular copy of The Happy Prince is illustrated incredibly beautifully. Next up we have another Aussie classic, and a book that pretty much describes my dream lifestyle, and that is Diary of a Wombat by Jackie French. Now, to give you context, let me read out a short passage from this book. Monday, morning, slept. Afternoon, slept. Evening, ate grass. Scratched. Night, ate grass. Slept. Basically, all this wombat ever does is eat, sleep, and terrorize the people whose property it lives on. And in the end, it kind of becomes friends with them, and it's really sweet and adorable. Next up, we have yet another Aussie classic that I'm pretty sure every single child in Australia will know, and that is Magic Beach by Alison Lester. So I not only read this book at home, but this was the book that was always read to us at school. And I mean, it's a beautiful book. It's basically just about the imagination of a child at the beach. And I always used to be kind of envious of this kid with the watermelon hat, because he had a cool hat and I wanted the watermelon hat. And if I'm gonna be real here, I kinda still want the watermelon hat, so if you know where I can get this kid's watermelon hat, let me know. And finally, on the list of my top fave childhood storybooks is a book that's not so much on there because it's profound or amazing or the best children's book in existence, but it's on there because it means a lot to me sentimentally. And it's also another one that I can't find our copy of, and that's devastating because this book was read to me every day consecutively for the first few years of my life. And this book was Koalaloo by Mem Fox. When I think of my childhood, I think of that book. It means a lot to me. It has a special place in my heart, and I really, really hope that I find it soon because I'm not okay with it being lost right now. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, or hey, you could also subscribe because that would be really cool. Let me know down in the comments what your top 5 childhood storybooks were so we can all ride this nostalgia train together. Or if you recognized any of the storybooks that I showed to you today, let me know as well. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next week with a new video. Bye!